No, refused to adhere to the parks, to what the community has been fighting for more than 5 years. They continue on this path to really just turn our parks into cash cows. Recently, I'm sure you've read about two recent things that were just defeated, these big tennis bubbles, one on 59th Street and one in Central Park. And all around the city, the mayor has designated our parks as basically open season for making money for the city, not for the parks department. So today, they did in fact issue their request for proposals, and it's pretty much what we thought it was going to be. They even want to take where used to be a newsstand on the western side. They want to turn that into, that's open for proposals as well. They want a bidder to build a kiosk there. So again, as we all know, this area has has the highest concentration of restaurants in New York City and the least amount of park and open space, especially playgrounds. It's got the least amount of playgrounds in New York City. So, as we've been saying for 5 years, all of the numbers have been dead on about the square footages. They want to take away, again, thousands of square feet inside the pavilion, and they also want to use a section north of the pavilion, which actually goes up to that one of the trees. So the image that Jack has, just another opportunity to show off this wonderful photograph that Jack likes and I like so much. But so here we have the Union Square, and as Jack has told you, this has been the backdrop for more than 100 years for many sort of demonstrations. This area in here, they want to turn into an outdoor space for restaurants. So, as we've gotten certainly a lot of complaints with that, as far as I know, and Jack can correct me if I'm wrong about this, they have eliminated the third playground in Union Square Park, which didn't know anything about. So now it's even less space. So already this community ranks dead last in the provision of playground space, and the city just took away another playground. I mean, it's really laughable. So that's where we are at. I contacted our lawyers today, and obviously we will be moving forward with the support of the Union Square Community Coalition, and it's just sad. I mean, it's really sad that the city refuses to listen to the needs of communities. So that's where we're at with that. So you can answer any questions. This will be on the USCC website, I guess, starting tomorrow. So if you guys want to go on there, which is unionsquarecommunitycoalition.org, along with the history of our fight. So that's sad news. Another thing we just wanted to talk to you guys about, almost from the day the playground opened, we've gotten a lot of complaints about the playground itself. I'm just going to pass around a couple of photographs. So we have a few issues. We have a gigantic 8 or 9 foot orb, which for some reason the architects felt was appropriate to put into a place where children play. It's made of metal, so it gets extremely hot. I don't know if you saw, about a month ago we wrote a story in Brooklyn. The exact same architect had put in these metal orbs, and children were burning themselves. So again, the city, when you put something in a playground, believe it or not, our playground equipment, nothing in a playground has to be by law tested for heat. So this is what we're dealing with here. In Brooklyn Bridge Park, what they did is they covered them. So now they have human beings that have to stand by for 16 hours a day, and they have to move these covers. so our sources are saying that they may either remove them or they may coat them with something else. In Union Square Park, it's a little bit different because these orbs are 8 or 9 feet high. So what you're seeing now are one set of images of people from a couple of weeks ago, parents touching this, one kid blowing off his hand. We have lots of images of kids burning themselves. The other thing, which again, the city has refused to even put up a sign. Again, it's just common sense, and I hope the Parks Department rep brings back our common sense. It's outrageous that the public has to be subjected to A, these design elements, and then B, that once, I mean, we've been complaining about this stuff before this park was built, and of course, we were not paid attention to. So now we have this gigantic play feature in the park, and one of the things that parents keep saying is that, if a small child, trips and falls on this orb, I mean, your face getting burned, I mean, it's really ridiculous. So that's one issue. We have an issue which the other set of pictures have to deal with a spinning piece of play equipment that's in the eastern part of the park, and you can see that one child, 14 years old, goes to school a block away. So, I just watched there for 20 minutes, so all these kids getting hurt. So they're spinning around on this thing, and that one kid flew and actually crashed into the water fountain, and he had to be dragged away. So again, this is our Parks Department. This is one of the reasons why making these arrangements with bids, allowing these bids to take over projects is not a great idea, and the public should be listened to. One of the other issues there are the equipment itself is not accessible to people with disabilities. So the playground itself, you can gain access to it, but not, the benches are not ADA compliant. The playground equipment itself, besides one swing, there is basically, the only thing a person in a wheelchair could use are these talking tubes. So again, if you're a person in a wheelchair or with so-called special needs, you can go there and you can watch your friends play, but you can't play. And we have to deal with this. We have to eliminate this culture of isolation. Again, we brought this up with the city, with Parks Department. We brought this up with the designers before this stuff went in, but again, they couldn't care less. Unfortunately, our Parks Commissioner wrote a letter to one of the advocates, Margie Rubin, and said there's simply not enough room. There wasn't enough space to make these things compliant, which is obviously outrageous. So again, with very little accountability within this administration, these are just a few. Just in this one tiny little area in Union Square Park. We have these areas just in this one thing. I'm sure Robert has already spoken about the artist stuff. He hasn't spoken yet. But again, there's lots of issues going on there. So I guess that's about it.
Can you just clarify something? When you said in Brooklyn, the orb is covered, you don't mean the orb itself, you meant they have a cover above it. When the sunlight moves, they move it from place to place. That's why they have to have someone there 16 hours?
Yeah, so they actually have to have a human being there moving these what they're called party tents. So because of obviously the earth is rotating. So it's really crazy. So again, it's a design element. It's not a great play feature, obviously. But here in Union Square Park, this thing is so huge. So what I'm being told in Brooklyn is that they may just try to put some sort of surfacing on it. But in Union Square, that might be proved to be a little more difficult.
I think we have a couple of questions, gentlemen, and then after the gentleman. Gentlemen, raise your hand.